and welcome to Legal Affairs. My name is Diamond Liddy, and I'm the public defender of the 19th Judicial Circuit. And this has been a very cool year of meeting and greeting new people who have taken over very, very important positions in our community and learning all about them. So last month we had a great show with the new CEO of New Horizons, but this month we are going to be talking to Stacey Watson-Mesley, and she's going to tell you about that because it's pretty interesting. Yes, she got married, but there's more details. She is the new CEO of Big Brothers Big Sisters. So
yes.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
I think pretty much everyone, you have a hard act to follow. I'm sure you know.
Yes, I do.
Knows or knew that Judy Miller was the CEO of Big Brothers Big Sisters for what, 30-something?
27 years.
27 years. Oh my gosh. And she just recently retired, and you were hired. So
yes,
welcome to our community. You are from?
Buffalo, New York.
Okay.
Virginia originally. So you'll hear a little twang in there once in a while. But the last 18 years in Buffalo, New York.
Okay, and you've got to be thrilled to be here.
Yes, absolutely.
Especially with this weather, right?
Yes, I've been watching it from afar going, I never have to shovel snow again.
Oh my God. Well, it's so interesting. And let's start with, and we're going to talk about Big Brothers Big Sisters, and I know there's stuff going on and things coming up and all of that we can talk about. But let's get to know you, Stacey.
Okay.
You have the hyphenated name, Watson-Mesley, and as we talked before the show, I guess you got married a week before you started this job?
Yes, I officially started November 1st, but we had an event happening October 29th in Vero up in Indian River County.
Right.
Chocolate, Champagne, and Chefs.
Right.
So I was married on October 20th. We went on our honeymoon. We drove back the 29th, dropped our suitcases, got changed, and went to Chocolate.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
And I said, honey, I hope you're ready for the nonprofit world.
Yes, because if you're not, you're in deep trouble.
Yes, and so we jumped right in, and it was such a beautiful event, and everybody was so kind and so welcoming, and even though I was still starry-eyed from my honeymoon.
Oh, sure. Oh, my gosh.
But it was really fun.
Judy retired when, actually?
She officially retired December 31st, so it was wonderful because we had a really long transition.
Oh, okay.
Which allowed for, she had such wonderful relationship and has such wonderful relationships in this community that there was the opportunity for a lot of warm handoffs. So I got to meet with her, with many of our stakeholders and supporters. It was really a pleasure because then I also got to see her interaction with them and learn a bit of their expectations and share a little bit about the differences with me and my personality. And so it was very fun, and I really appreciated her taking the time to do that.
Well, now is her and gosh, I've known Judy forever, and of course, and I personally been involved with Big Brothers Big Sisters, but know, of course, what you all do. But is your position covers Indian River, St. Lucie, Martin, and Okeechobee, or just?
No, we are St. Lucie, Indian River, and Okeechobee counties.
Oh, okay, and not Martin. Okay,
No.
Got it. Okay, so how did you hear about this position, and what brought you here?
Well, honestly, what brought me to Florida was I came to visit my mother a couple years ago. She had moved down here from Virginia, and after spending 18 years away from her because I was working up in Buffalo, I was flying back in March. We were on the beach that morning, and I flew into a snowstorm, and I thought, I miss my mom.
Yeah.
I need to see my mom. What am I doing? And although I truly love Buffalo and the people there, I just felt it was time to be closer to my mom. And so I did a lot of research around the area, and the demographics of Fort Pierce really spoke to me.
Okay.
I love the feel of the city.
Yeah.
I love St. Lucie County, and I visited a couple times and got the feel for it. So then I started applying for positions down here and connected with the United Way of Palm Beach County.
Okay, gotcha. Gotcha.
And so they were kicking off a collective impact initiative around post-secondary education.
Okay.
And so I was able to join the United Way as a vice president and work as an executive director of the Achieve Palm Beach County initiative to kick that off.
Okay.
And that brought together partners from all over the county to work together towards post-secondary education.
Gotcha.
And that was so much fun. But I was driving down from St. Lucie County every day. And truly, I've spent my entire career working with youth.
Right.
So there was something in my heart that was missing in not having any direct contact and support of children.
Right.
And so when I saw the position publicized, I thought, okay, this is why I was brought to Florida. And it was right in my home county.
Where does one publicize a position for a nonprofit such as that? I'm just curious.
You see it on Indeed and LinkedIn, Idealist.
Okay.
You know, there's Idealist and LinkedIn usually have the nonprofit listings, and I really wanted to be in St. Lucie County. I recognize the economic need and the education need, and that's my expertise. So when I saw that, I thought, okay, this is it. And I emailed Judy and sent her my resume and said, I'd really like to talk to you about this opportunity. And from there, the process started.
Oh, wow. Well, how many people applied? I can imagine a ton.
I am not certain. However, I am certain there were a ton. I know Judy did mention there were a lot of people that applied
and then
for the position.
What was the interview process? I'm just curious.
It was lengthy. The interview process began with the exchange with Judy and I, and then she sent me this list of questions that were, and I was an English teacher, so give me written questions and I will respond in full essay form.
Yeah, perfect.
And so she sent me this list of questions that really dug into my ideology and methodology, what I think about youth, what I think about this work. And so I returned those, and then a committee from the board of directors reviewed. I think there were 7 final candidates that made it through the written process.
Okay.
And then by the time they narrowed it down, I think there were 4 candidates that interviewed actually with the board.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And then the final step was presenting for the entire board of directors.
Ooh, yeah, that had to be
Not
tough.
intimidating at all.
Oh, no. Well, let's back up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Give us your background. I mean, we heard about, United Way and stuff here locally, but what did you do in Buffalo?
Well, I arrived in Buffalo as the accidental educator.
Okay.
My undergrad and graduate work were both in English, and one day I was going to move to New York City and be a writer and be misunderstood.
Yeah.
However, I came from a background where my trajectory was not to go to college. I came from a low-income background, and I'm a first-generation college student, and so getting to college was a huge deal for me, and mentorship truly changed my life. And I had wonderful parents. However, neither my father or stepfather graduated from high school. My mother worked very, very hard, and always struggled, but she always made ends meet. But they had to work hard for every piece of food on our table. And when I went to college and studied English, I always had this, I recognize myself in literature. I recognize myself in other students. I recognize the underdog, basically.
Right.
And so when I moved to Buffalo, I didn't know that education was my path. I was 24 years old and just was trying something new. And I actually was...
Well, so where were you born?
I was born in New Jersey, raised in Virginia.
Okay, I got you. Okay, and then went there.
And then just took a path to Buffalo.
Okay.
And ended up teaching. So I picked up a teaching job at a small college.
What year? What grade?
I was teaching college.
Oh, wow.
And at college English. And I was doing that adjunct in the morning. And then the school district advertised a GED class. And so I picked that up in the afternoon. And when I walked into that class, I knew those were my kids. And I recognized them. I saw myself.
Yeah.
I saw my dad.
Yeah.
And so I really had a fortunate experience of being in the right place at the right time. I connected with one of our local legislators and now a sitting congressman.
Wow.
And we started a street school for students that had dropped out of school. and I spent a decade running that school and teaching mostly young men, many young women, but mostly young men between the ages of 16 and 24 GED.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
How cool. So not in the jails or prisons. It was a brick and mortar setup where people could go.
Yeah, it was wonderful. Actually, it was a boarded up storefront. What I realized was that students who feel disconnected from the education system oftentimes don't want to walk into what they see as the institution.
Sure.
So we picked out a boarded up storefront across from the hottest drug corner.
Yeah.
And turned it into a street school. And every day I just walked out, and the kids just didn't know what to do with me, because I'd be like, "It's your day, honey." And the kids would come in, and they did, and it turned into quite a family. I graduated 743 kids from that street school.
Oh my God! In 10 years.
Yes.
Whoa, that's fabulous.
It was truly the gift of my life. They were a gift to me. They taught me what I was, and what I was a teacher.
Yeah.
And so through that, though, that education was very non-traditional. 80% of those children were already adjudicated, making huge life decisions, oftentimes without mentorship.
Right.
So I started really connecting them with adult mentors and older people that could be there.
I assume there was no charge for this or no formal thing. It was just, look, come on, sweetheart, let's do this.
It's your day.
Yeah, it's your day, and you got them hooked, so to speak. They drank the Kool-Aid. Oh, that's fabulous.
I'm still connected to many of them. Facebook is a wonderful thing in that way. And now, all these years later, they are grown up and they have their own families and their own homes and jobs, and that's the most wonderful feeling in the world.
Absolutely.
I have one student from 17 years ago who's written a book and is doing public speaking as motivational speaking with Les Brown throughout the entire country. That's the moment we wait for.
Wow, absolutely. Absolutely. So you did this street school up until the point that you came down here, or?
I did that until 2012.
Okay.
And then in 2013, there's a gentleman named Bill Strickland out of Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And he's quite famous. He's a MacArthur Fellow, and he's a pretty special human. And in the 1960s, he started a program in Pittsburgh called the Manchester Bidwell Guild. He had been a young person, a young black man growing up in Pittsburgh, seeing race riots and all kinds of craziness in the Manchester neighborhood.
Right.
And a hippie art teacher said, "Let me show you how to throw pottery." And he learned, and he said it was the first thing in his life he could control. And so the deal was, in order to go throw that pottery, he had to go to school. And so he began a program focused on, you can come to this amazing art center and create amazing things with cool artists and cool people.
Right.
But you have to go to school. And so he built a center in Buffalo. And I partnered with our former superintendent. She was the CEO.
Right.
And I was the COO. And we built that center. And it is currently the Buffalo Center for Arts and Technology.
Oh my God, how cool is that?
It was pretty fun.
So, school meaning, I mean...
It was, during the day, we were workforce development for adults.
Okay, gotcha.
And then in the afternoon, we were this amazing high-tech arts program for young people. And because, the first thing that gets cut from high-poverty schools are arts.
Sure.
Arts and then sports.
Yeah.
And so Buffalo has a tremendous history of art.
Right.
And so really, there were so many students there just itching for the music and performance and painting and graphic design.
Yeah. And so much talent, I'm sure.
And so much talent.
Oh my God.
And so we built all of that. We did a $4 million build out and created a facility, and we hired the coolest people to be the teachers.
I can imagine.
At one point we had the former drummer for Rusted Root was our music instructor. We had a jazz instructor, Eric Crittenden, who's a wonderful jazz musician. We had a rapper, Davon McCune, be our youth coordinator.
Oh my God.
So the kids were like, "Oh, these are cool people in a cool environment.
I can do this." Yeah. Oh, what? So you did that
up until I moved here.
Oh, I gotcha. And so it wasn't that you hadn't done great things and fulfilling things and wonderful things. in Buffalo, or that you weren't happy with those jobs. It was just kind of the weather and your mother, and so
yeah, it was time.
Yeah,
and,
I got you.
And I spent nearly 20 years in Buffalo, and I love it. And
well, you have to have some great connections and such great experiences that you can utilize in your position now too, I'm sure.
Absolutely. I just connected a woman I met here who owns a home at the Chautauqua Institute and is looking to do work up there. I just connected her with from down here with some of my friends from up there.
Oh, wow. No, that's terrific.
The world is a very small place.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is. Okay, so let's back up a little bit. Mm-hmm. So you've been here since October, and you got mentored with Judy, mm-hmm. and you're officially on your own December 1st?
January 1.
January 1. Okay, yes. So she stayed with you. So you've had a month under your belt. Yeah. So what do you think? I mean, are you overwhelmed still? Are you figuring it out? Where are you?
Well, there's of course a lot to figure out in a new community, and a lot of people to meet, and a different culture. Yeah. I'm trying to make sure that I don't bring my abruptness to Florida.
Right.
But the work is the work that I've spent my whole life doing.
Right.
So the work I recognize, the team that I work with, I recognize they're my people.
Right.
This is the authentic place in my life I'm supposed to be, and the children are the children that I work on behalf of forever. So, so the work itself, and I recognize the acronyms. I mean, so much of that is very similar.
Sure. That part has to be easy.
What is difficult, and I think what is also very exciting, is stepping into a role after there's been a legacy leader like Judy.
Right.
And making certain that, one, you honor the legacy, but also aren't afraid to bring your own flavor.
Right.
And and
good luck with that, because I can't imagine, obviously, big shoes to fill, but I know obviously you have your own ideas. You've come from some cool things that have happened. I'm sure there's things that you did in Buffalo you want to implement down here, but you've got to take baby steps.
Absolutely.
Because you don't want them running you out of town.
Exactly. I don't want to get run out of town this fast. And I take to mentorship well. My former CEO mentored me quite a bit and is still a dear friend. She came down for the wedding.
Right.
And I have a mentor who was a school principal and also a professor at the University at Buffalo in the Graduate School of Education. And I've been under her wing for 18 years. I listen. Yeah. When women who have walked the path before me speak, I listen.
Yeah, you got to.
And I take in everything that they say. And I think that I try very hard to make sure that we're respectful.
Right.
And also that the ideas don't end up being overwhelming, but instead complementary to the work. No. So, with Big Brothers, Big Sisters, there's just so many young people.
Right.
And there's so many young people that need mentors that I think the work and the ground that Judy's laid for the last 27 years is truly what's necessary. We have a solid organization. We have a solid reputation.
Well, and how exciting for you, I can imagine. You're in a new position that's exciting and obviously going to be fulfilling, but I can't imagine, the worst thing, in my opinion, would be getting this position and then saying, oh, what a mess I have to clean up, and oh my gosh, it's going to take me 10 years, till I can even get my feet on the ground, see where everything's at, and then start doing some of the cool things that I want to do. You don't have that to worry about. So now you've got a new position. It's exciting.
Exactly.
And you can just make it grow.
And this community's so supportive. I mean, really, everybody loves Big Brothers Big Sisters and understands our work, understands the relevance, and bringing an education lens to it, I think, is very important. I understand that, you know, here in St. Lucie County, we have 50% of our children not reading a grade level by 3rd grade.
Yeah.
That's serious.
Yeah.
And in our school district, I mean, we have an amazing partnership there. Debbie Hawley, our COO, is on the school board, so there's a lot of great connections there. So this community is ready for the work. And this afternoon, I'm meeting with the Sheriff's Department. The Sheriff's Department is allowing there to be 5 mentors coming from the Sheriff's Department.
Oh, great.
So, I mean, the growth is going to, the path for this growth has all been set. It's now just catapulting it into what's next.
Sure.
And I think that we are really poised to do that.
I'm just curious, and believe me, the reason you're here is to hear about you and meet you and let the community meet you as well.
Thank you.
How many, because I'm trying to think. I know I've had Judy on my show before, but it's been years. You know, how many kids does Big Brothers Big Sisters serve now?
1,400.
Oh my goodness.
You know, and I've heard that when she began, there were around 50 students being served. There's 1,400 children being served now in 3 counties.
And give us an overview, if you will. All the things, because I know you've grown since it started. You've got 1,400 kids, 3 county-wide.
Yes.
What services does Big Brothers, in a nutshell, provide?
Well, we have 3 basic tracks for our mentors. We have our school-based work, so we call it site-based, school-based, where mentors sign up, and these are volunteers that sign up to go in and read with the child.
Yeah, I've done that for like 14 years.
It's amazing.
It's crazy.
And so they go in to read and mentor a child. I mean, you can do other things besides read, but that school and site-based mentoring is once a week, and you do that in the schools or at a community center. Then we have our community-based mentoring, which is really the heart and soul of where Big Brothers Big Sisters started. And that's when you build a relationship with a young person and expose them to things that, because of whatever family situation, they may not get to see. So I met, one of the first young people I met was Joey, who has not played baseball. Now, he loved baseball. And when I met his mentor, he said, I haven't played baseball in 30 years, but I've taught Joey now, and Joey's starting Little League.
Oh,
so it's that sort of stuff. And then we have our really intensive school mentoring, which is called BBBS Reads. And that's partnered with AmeriCorps and Volunteer Florida. And those mentors are actually, we consider them employees of Big Brothers Big Sisters. They're with us 20 to 25 hours a week, and they are located in the schools. And they are focused specifically on building up the reading for children that are struggling with reading.
Oh, see, now I didn't know about that. How long is that part of Big Brothers?
It's been around quite a while. I know. I mean, I believe they started it 17 years ago, but I think it's really grown in the last 7 years. The director, Jenna Taylor, is just phenomenal.
And these aren't paid employees; they're
stipend through AmeriCorps.
Oh, okay.
So, which is a wonderful partnership because AmeriCorps provides a stipend. Many of our mentors through that program. And it's a very small stipend. It's not a living wage. Many of our mentors through that program are retired. And then what they do, there's an education award through the federal government associated with that. And they then gift that to their grandchildren to go to college.
Oh, wow.
It's very cool. And then our young people that do that are able to earn education awards towards their college.
Oh, that's great.
It's very cyclical. I love it.
And that is in all the schools?
It's not in all of the schools. We target schools. So we specifically work with schools that have high need reading.
Okay. And how many schools is Big Brothers in?
14.
Wow.
Yes.
And that's all 3 counties?
That's St. Lucie and Indian River, and we have 1 school in Okeechobee.
Oh, goodness. Oh, my gosh. See, I did not know about that. Wow.
Yes, it's pretty exciting.
Well, you know, and the other thing is, not that it's a stigma, but, you know, when people think of Big Brothers Big Sisters, if you're connected with a family or a child, there's some people that say, well, obviously the the parents aren't good parents, or there's an issue at the home and whatever, and that's why Big Brothers Big Sisters is involved, and that's not necessarily the case.
Not at all.
No, and I have a little girl that I've been with for years, and has phenomenal parents.
Yes.
You know, in fact, I almost wasn't able to get involved with her on a deeper level because, you know, they were indignant. Wait a minute, you know.
We're fine.
Yeah, what have we done? You know, she's got other siblings, but we don't need no big brother, big sister, you know. But, you know, I forget who was with me, but anyway, when we were selling this, that was the you know. Yep. Wait a minute, whoa! It's no, you know, reflection on you as a parent, because now certainly, you know, there are situations with some of the students that the family situation is bad, and that's why Big Brothers Big Sisters gets involved on different levels and stuff. But that's not always the case.
It's not always the case. I mean, a lot of times parents are our partners.
Yeah.
And we really embrace the idea that it does take a village to raise a child, particularly in our environment now. And there's so many distractions for a child. There's so many ways for somebody to get off course. And the more trusted adults that are invested in a child, the better chance that child has to not only be successful in school, but just in life. It never hurts to have people in your corner.
Yeah.
And so we try to really make the parents our partners in this work.
Right.
And then for those situations, you know, one of the things I really like about working with Big Brothers Big Sisters Florida is that there has been a line item through the state legislature that allowed for work with young people whose parents are incarcerated.
Right.
I think that work is very important because it doesn't, and you know what, somebody being incarcerated doesn't necessarily tag them as not being a good parent. It's there's an emptiness there for that child. And if there's somebody that can just be a support during that time, it is so helpful.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it makes all the difference.
Absolutely.
I mean, it actually breaks that, you know, I hate to use, you know, buzzwords or phrases, but it does break that cycle of crime because, you know, lots of times, you know, parents are in trouble, imprisoned, whatever, you know, it just keeps going, you know, but.
And what we hope is that, you know, when you grow up and you don't have a framework for what success looks like. Success almost becomes more frightening than failure.
Oh, yeah.
And I used to see it when I taught GED all the time. Like the night before the GED, somebody would get arrested or, you know, they'd be clean and then they would make a bad choice with substances or steal a car or do something like totally ridiculous. And then when you debrief about that, what you find is they were not afraid of getting in trouble. They were afraid of not passing the test. They were afraid of not being good enough. And so a big portion of all of this work is letting children know that mistakes don't make you not good enough. Mistakes are part of being authentic.
Absolutely.
So we hope that our young people learn that from one-to-one mentoring. And one-to-one mentoring is one of the few proven pieces of support for children that is just proven over and over to work.
Absolutely. Well, we are about 10 seconds away from being that. I know. Anyway, give us the number real quick that people can call if they want to help in any way.
The best way to get in touch with us, because you can fill out a volunteer form right there, is www.bbbsbigs.org.
Okay. You're wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.